My name is Ellen Evans. I'm a Junior Research Fellow at the 0 to 5 Food Industry Centre at Cardiff Metropolitan University.
And what kind of research do you do?
So I specialise in cognitive and behavioural factors that influence food safety. This can be in food and drink manufacturing businesses in Wales, but also in a domestic setting. So I'm fascinated about what consumers do at home as well. The university has got a long track record of conducting behavioural and cognitive research, which has previously been in relation to the domestic setting and what consumers do at home. But because of the fabulous links we have with the food industry in Wales at the 0 to 5 Food Industry Centre, we're taking those research capabilities into the food industry to look at the cognitive and behavioural factors there, and also look at food safety culture. I mean, we know so much about the behaviour of pathogens in food production environments, but at times we know so little about the behaviour of the human beings that can be there, and the relationship humans have with the environment that can also have a big impact on food safety. The law requires food and drink manufacturing companies to provide training to their staff and also provide suitable facilities. So you've got the training and you've got the facilities, but if you have both of these, it doesn't mean that your staff will be implementing an adequate hand washing attempt every single time they go into production, for example. And so there's a need to explore what people are actually doing, and the way that you assess what people are doing, and that's really important. So for example, if you ask your staff, do you always wash your hands before going into production? I would imagine most of them say, yes, I always wash my hands. However, if you spend a period of time watching the staff, then you'll start to understand, yes, they are all attempting to wash their hands, but there might be some issues such as they're not wetting their hands before applying soap, or they're not using soap, or they're not rubbing between their fingers. So understanding where the issues are that are preventing an adequate hand wash being implemented, and then look at what could be the barrier. So it could be that the soap is too harsh for the hands. It could be that the water is far too hot or far too cold. Other things that we've noticed in some factories that have a multiple number of sinks is that if the soap dispenser is too far away from the sink that they've gone to and wetted their hands, often they won't walk to the other side to use the soap. They will continue washing their hands under the running water without the soap, dry their hands and go into production. Things, the location of things does have an impact on behaviour. I think of myself as a scientist, and I specialise in food safety. So I know some of the food safety messages that I want the companies that we work with to pass on to their food handlers before going into production, for example. However, as a scientist, I'm probably not the best placed person to understand how to communicate that message in the most effective way. So recently we've been working with a group of students at the School of Art and Design at Cardiff Metropolitan University, and they've been developing their own methods of communicating these methods. So they're graphic design students, they're very artistic. They don't necessarily have an in-depth knowledge of the food industry, but they know how to communicate effectively. And often the information that we want to provide is an A4 sheet of paper, which is very difficult to read when you're washing your hands quickly before going into production. So they've come up with some very innovative methods that don't rely on too many words, that take things away from that A4 sheet, and put things into a much larger format. And they take away the emphasis being on what the practice is to what the responsibility of the staff is and what the consequence of failing to wash hands is. So giving people that sense of responsibility. So that's been a very interesting journey. So it'll be interesting to see how companies will react, I guess, to these messages once they go into factories. So my relationship with EHEDG is relatively new, I guess. I was made aware of EHEDG from Professor John Holler, who is an honorary professor at the university, and I'd heard him talking lots about EHEDG, and I thought thought I'd investigate to find out more, and I found that there were some really useful guidance documents on the website, and I've been able to use those particularly when I'm writing academic journal papers, and the guidance is really valuable for me.
Success with your future research, and I hope you share your new insights, because it might be very valuable for the whole industry.
Thank you very much.